all these constant breaks Oda-sensei starting to take is really starting to affect this anime. I have noticed that recently, and especially it's very obvious in this recent episode of One Piece. Now, I don't know if I remember correctly, it's been a long time since I've read this individual chapter of One Piece, but I believe this entire fight with Jorah, for instance, when she went to Super Size mode with her big ultimate art, I don't think that exactly happened in the manga. I don't remember. It's been a very long time, I could be incorrect, but I believe that was filler. But either way, it was a good episode all around, even though it had filler. It was a good episode, but in terms of plot progression, we only had 2 points of plot progression. That was really the main thing of this episode. For one thing, we find out about Don Flamingo and his past, and at the same time, we see Jorah defeated. That's really the only 2 plot points this episode progressed. And it's kind of upsetting if you think about it like that. In terms of the entire episode, that's all that really happened in terms of progression. Now, let's talk about Don Flamingo, since that's probably one of the most interesting facts about this entire episode. We find out that Don Flamingo is a celestial dragon, and at the same time, his family is up there in Meridios. Oh, God, dude. Dude, that is crazy. It really is. The reason why they show that, okay? It's amazing getting to see how Don Flamingo has such a great connection with the Void Century. For instance, 800 years into the past. And this is really interesting because now we're finally getting this information talked about. Because it's been a long time since we've actually had the Void Century brought up. And anytime the Void Century is getting brought up, expect amazing plot reveals. That's exactly what you should expect. And I'm always interested to find out more about that, whatever timeline happened 800 years ago. And so, Don Flamingo's family at one given time was the true rulers of Dressrosa, but then once they left to form the world government, the Riku family took their spot and ruled over the entire land, and Dolphy came back in the past and took over the island. That's what we can get from this entire timeline, which is really interesting, and I like that. Now, here's the big thing from this point onward. Is Don Flamingo, still a celestial dragon? How's it work? I mean, he's a pirate right now. He's also a warlord for the government, but I mean, is he still a celestial dragon? I mean, I'm guessing he must be to be able to call the world government to fake the entire news around the world to trick the Straw Hats. So I'm guessing he must have some form of pull, but I mean, is he still a celestial dragon? That's the big question right now, and that is something I wanted to throw out there. And then the other point of this episode, Jorah's defeat. So, her defeat was very anticlimactic, let's just be honest. There was not much good fluid animation in that fight. There really wasn't. There was a lot of sloppy animation in this episode. Nobody can really deny that. The shading was good, yes, but there was a lot of still frames used, and at the same time, you could really see the same reused animation of Brook when he's scaling freaking Jorah on her arms. You see him constantly skidding back and forth. Same animation. I'm kind of upset with that, and there was a couple dirt faces with Nami's face this episode, which is kind of upsetting. But overall, besides the animation derps and the episode having only maybe 2 plot points, it was a good episode. I don't have complaints. I'm just seeing Oda, since he's been taking a lot of breaks from the manga recently, that it's really affecting this series, because now they're really being forced to add in filler. And when the actual anime of One Piece is being forced to add filler, that's not a good sign. I really wish, at this point onward, One Piece would just cut into a filler arc, or at the same least, extend these fights that are coming up, which I am glad they're doing. I'm glad they took the time to add in filler on this fight of Jorah, because at the same time, even though we didn't get a lot of plot progression, it really helped out overall with the pacing, and it might lead to the pacing correcting just a little bit with the upcoming episode, so I'm happy with that. So everybody, tell me your thoughts about this episode of One Piece. Did you enjoy it? Did you hate it? What was your favorite moments about it? Love all of you so much. Please be safe. Chibi out.